Q&A discussing the ISO 9001 QMS system certification with Robert Thoburn, Chairman at Forsspac. First question, how important is having a QMS certification to you?
QMS systems are very important to me and to the company. From a personal point of view, they help me to understand what we need to do in the business. The new risk-based approach helps us to look at strategy within the business. Our clients also expect us to have some kind of QMS certification, particularly when dealing with larger clients like Lendlease, Acciona, John Holland, etc.
And how different are the requirements to achieve the updated ISO 9001-2015 certification compared to the previous?
The requirements of ISO 9001-2015 have not changed. The two changes that are significant is the move to working from home, but also the introduction of a slightly more formalised risk management approach to business, where the forms and expressions have evolved over time to be easier to manage and easier to create and derive strategy from. The COVID event that we suffered recently caused the company to shift its operating systems significantly. We were a working from office company primarily, and we are now a working from home company. This has meant that our systems have had to be completely revised and go paperless. And this has been a real challenge for all staff because historically they've been used to working on paper-based systems, particularly during external audits. But now it's all based in SharePoint up in the cloud.
Following the move to working from home and changing operating systems to paperless, what was the key challenge when looking to attain the ISO 9001 certification?
One of the most significant challenges that we've faced is the tendency for people to download a document once and hold what I call a private stash, which they tend to go back to time and time again. What they're supposed to do is go to the SharePoint folder, download the form they want to use, and then complete the form and pass it forwards. The key reason being, in a cloud-based format, the forms may be updated, but there is no paper exchange to let people know that the form has been updated. So they must go back to the original source every time. That has been a key challenge.
So can you tell me a little bit about how you overcame this challenge within Forsspac?
The way we've overcome this challenge by and large is to hold working group sessions at the executive/VP level to make sure the managers understand the importance of this aspect of the revised systems. When they fully understand and have taken it on board, it's easier for them to work with their staff to ensure the download process works smoothly and the forms do conform to requirement. It's an ongoing process, and we run an internal audit programme. We do one department audit per month to back check that the rules that we've applied are being put into effect.
Could you tell me what the assessment process consisted of while trying to attain the ISO 9001 certification?
In October 2022, we decided that we would recertify the business to ISO 9001-2015. We decided to go on a process and a journey of updating the procedures and forms to match what was happening within the business. We then set up a process of 2 internal audits to check that we're complying with the procedures and forms that we've put in place. And only when we'd achieved a second pass on the internal audit did we then approach an external body, in this case TÜV, to do the external assessment, which is in 2 stages. Stage 1 was to do with the documentary system to make sure the QMS was in place. And the second stage is then to audit the system in effect by meeting members of staff and asking the questions about how they've applied the processes and procedures and seeking documentary evidence. In this case, because it was primarily a video conferencing exercise, the documents were provided in digital format, not hard copy format, as would have been the case 2 or 3 years ago.
Within your ISO 9001 report, it outlines that Forsspac received 0 non-conformities. Could you clarify what this actually means?
So when you have an external audit, which goes to stage 2, they assess the company by a given set of criteria, which is how well you've complied with the processes, procedures and forms that you've issued. And they have the opportunity to comment on best practices that you've adopted, comments and opportunities for improvements. which are items where they believe you've done the right thing, but maybe the system could be tweaked to improve it slightly. And then you get into minor non-conformities, where, for example, sign-off documents haven't been completed or a process step hasn't been followed correctly. So that wouldn't stop you getting a certificate, but it would be checked to the next audit to make sure you've complied. A major non-conformity is where maybe a whole process has been missed out. So during the stage 2 external audit that we had with Tough Nord, we were in a good position in that they found no non-conformities, either major or minor. So we're very pleased with the outcome, and it's a tribute to our staff who have listened, learned and applied the procedures and forms and processes as we had all agreed they should be done. So overall, a fantastic outcome.
At the end of the assessment, you received 8 areas for improvement. Could you tell me if you think this is a fair assessment? And if so, how you intend to approach making these improvements?
What's interesting about the Tough Nord Stage 2 audit is they have found what I've called little bits of smoke floating around, and it's turned into 8 opportunities for improvement. Some of the little bit of smoke, there was no fire at the bottom of it, but other ones we did find some situations that needed to be corrected. So by going more deeply, we have found some improvements that we can make to the systems to make them more robust and easier to use. So overall, the 8 opportunities have resulted in some significant action within the business to update and improve. During the review process, we also found 2 other items where we could improve, which we added to the list ourselves. So overall, very pleased with the outcome and very pleased with the opportunities for improvement that were flagged by Tough Nord.
Now you have received the ISO 9001 certification, can you see the benefits within Forsspac as a company?
Yes. Every week we meet with our managers to review progress on a number of business areas. 2 of the ones that have jumped out so far are OTP KPI, where we're moving to a more metric-based approach to assessment rather than a written statement. And the training needs analysis, we're now looking at Thinkabell, our training platform, and trying to create more harmony between the training needs of our staff, delivery and feedback. So there is definitely an ongoing process of improvement coming out of the accreditation.
And finally, have your clients seen any benefits from Forsspac achieving the ISO 9001 certification?
Our clients won't have seen any direct impact on the delivery quality of our services because throughout the period from pre-COVID, we've maintained the ISO 9001 2015 system and we've not deviated from it. What we're now able to do is when clients ask us to bid for a contract, we can now enclose the certificate, which gives them extra confidence that we are compliant. So that is the key benefit that we will establish with our clients.